Everyone. I need to turn this off. Turn off sound so I don't get bombarded. Quit Discord on my computer, especially since people are having discussions over there. Quit. Okay. Give people a moment to file in. Because at my moment, my computer says no one's here. And it's a late on a Sunday. I can understand it. Okay, there's some people. We have achieved peopleosity. Something I normally avoid like the plague. But once a month, I need people. So welcome in, folks. I had at least 3 fans show up and talk to me during the rave event for the Author Nation convention in Vegas this past weekend. So it was very nice to meet you all. If you are here or are watching this back later, I had a couple come in cosplay. He came as Alvin with the duster and the zombie hat, and she came as Atropos with bright purple hair and a no fox given sweater. So it was nice. I know that I didn't thank them enough for coming in cosplay at the time because me someplace new around a lot of people, I'm not in the right headspace for stuff. So, but I did appreciate them coming along if they are here and or see this on playback at some point. It was and uh and his miss. It's not. I normally don't reply to new book things, but Mercury, if you think Heavenly Chaos 2 ended on a cliffhanger, you probably shouldn't read Binding Words because those had some cliffhangers. That was just a nice little stop point. So, so welcome in everyone. We are here for the November live chat. Thank God this year is almost over. It has been a fucking year. Yeah, yeah, a lot of stuff going on this year, and I will be glad to see the back of it. Maybe 25 will learn to be better than the rest of the 20s. Hope springs eternal, dies young in the cradle. So let's go ahead and cover over book news. So Heavenly Chaos 2 came out the end of October. Looks to be on pace to being right behind where book 1 was. We'll see how that goes. I have already started. My editors are hard at work on Antecedents Legacy 4. Woof. Oh, I actually have a title for that. I'll have to fix that at some point. And I am currently writing Lux Voice 9. So there you go. And then for the audio, Lux Voice 8 audio will probably get recorded early-ish next year. I would say probably first quarter next year. That was the runaround mix-up with scheduling. My bad. And then Aether's 9 audio has been done, recorded, proofed. I'm pretty sure corrections, and we should at this point basically be waiting on ACX and Audible for that. And then Heavenly Chaos 2 audio, I have given the files over to Podium, and I believe Andy is supposed to record that starting in like the next week sometime. So if we get really lucky, we'll see Heavenly Chaos 2 audio probably just after the first of the year. I really doubt they'd be able to get it in before the end of the year. So probably early next year for that. So we should see Aether's audio probably in December. Well, some either the end of this month or early December, and then I would think Heavenly Cast 2 audio probably early next year, but we'll have to wait and see. So that kind of wraps that up. The Author Nation Rave event was it was an event. I like I said, I had at least 3 fans show up. It was good to meet you guys. I gave away personalized signed copies of books. Um, we were supposed to sell the ones that I purchased to have at the event. The event let us basically upload files so they could take care of the printing and having them on hand. So I did that. I had 10 copies of Binding Words 1, 10 copies of Heavenly Chaos 2, and 20 copies of Aether's 1 on hand. 1. Yeah, I think I said that right. Whatever. Um, and then we were supposed to like tell people if they wanted to order them to go through the app and do whatever thingy was supposed to be done there. I didn't. I ate the loss as marketing and personalized and handed out books to people. So for those people who were there and got books, congratulations. Um, but yeah, it was a thing. I don't know if I will be going back next year yet or not. Um, there were some things that I think need to be addressed from a back end standpoint. We'll see what happens with it. Apollo, for the merch, you should still be able to hit the Redbubble store, which I think should still have a link on my website. Um, I'll have to look at that. But I'm fairly certain you could still get there. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and click over real quick. Click, click. If I know where my things are. Let's see. Okay. Hmm. It's my homepage. Cool. It's probably under links. Whoa. That I might have broke something. Okay, no, I didn't. I think we just have a little bit of lag. Is it under links? Yeah, merch shop. It's under links. Go click it, and yeah, the Redbubble store comes up. So you should be able to get some T-shirts and stuff there. So, I don't do Christmas, Arctic. I celebrate the solstice. I celebrate Yule. I don't celebrate Christmas. I haven't since I was like 8. So, it's just for me, it's just another holiday, the changing of the seasons. So, um, let's see what else. So I talked about that. Talked about that. Did that. Started to answer some questions. And as much as I hate to do it, guys, I am going to leave you here looking at my chair and this thing. Um, and I will be back in a couple of minutes. Please run up the questions for me, and I apologize. Ow. Slap my own headset. Jesus. Apparently dinner does not like me. So I apologize, everyone. I will show you the latest coin since book 2 is now out. The latest challenge coin that you are able to get, the Heavenly Chaos coin. If you don't want any spoilers, but honestly, if you've read the book and you haven't figured it out, I don't know what to tell you. So, hang on. There we go. Can we put it in front of my face? So there, and then there. So that is the Heavenly Chaos coin, which is now going to be offered up as one of the challenge coins you can ask for if you're one of the winners. So I'm sure there's going to be a mad dash on those over the next couple of months for the people who win. But yes, now the Heavenly Chaos coin is up for grabs. So there is something to look forward to. So we can now get to start answering the questions that you guys have graciously helped give me things to talk about. Just finished Heavy Chaos, amazing book. You outdid yourself. Second favorite series you've ever written. I appreciate that, Xerox. Um, there's a lot in Heavenly Chaos that I am looking forward to slowly digging through. So hopefully everyone will be along to enjoy that. Thank you, Mercury. I appreciate that. And then, when developing a world, how far do you go before starting a book? Since I'm an after-action reporter, Mercury, I don't go very far. Um, the 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 main character, I pretty much know them top to bottom when I start because they're the voice that I listen to. And then I have an idea of what the world is before I start rolling my head back and forth across my keyboard for the story to fall out of my ears and onto the keyboard and then go off to my editors to be fixed. Um, I'm not a plotter though, so I don't dig into things like a plotter would. So, have you thought about doing a sequel to Binding Words with Sean Kids? I mean, if one of them comes to me and says, "Hey, dude, this is my story now," I would consider writing it. I would listen to the story. I've listened to every story that it's come to me, whether or not it's been their time. It's been that story's time to be written or not. Um, I would be a little leery about it though, because the last time I had a main character of the the child of a previous main character come to me and say, "Hey, this is my story. Will you listen to me?" It didn't go as well as I'd hoped. So yes, yes, everyone had a chance to see it as I came back into the room. You could see bits and pieces of it as I sit here. Um, but yes, the Heavenly Chaos shirt will eventually make it to the store. There's some work that has to be done for it to be put up, but it will eventually make its way onto the store. Well, Lost, we haven't seen one yet, so your guess is as good as mine. But that's all I can say. Since Gregory and family have not told me of one yet, I can't answer that question. Once again, since I'm not a plotter, guys. Here's a question: is it hard to keep events and characters straight as you write? I wrote a fanfic as a high schooler. It took me 4 years because I had to keep redoing it. I have a spreadsheet for names for a reason because I will misspell a name a lot. Occasionally, I have completely flubbed the fact that I have named somebody before. which is why I now have spreadsheets. Um, but the events, I've never had a problem keeping events straight. Um, Losing a minor thread, yeah, they happen. My beta readers, my alpha readers and beta readers are normally good with a, hey, do you remember this thing? And then I can weave things back in. I can go back to my character and be like, hey guys, the letter that Sean gets for Mina in book 1 that gets talked about in book 3, I want to say, um, because there was a lot going on in book 2 that it didn't get mentioned, and someone said, well, whatever happened to that? And I went, ooh, it's a good point. I will I will mention that because there was a point for having it in book 1, and book 2 drifted away with that with a lot of other stuff that was going on. So, but nothing. I don't think I've ever missed them. I had a problem with like major events. I could be wrong. I'm sure one of my editors will tell me if I am. Wow. Well, I hope you feel better soon, sir. I'm gonna say sir because reasons and stuff. It's actually my default pronoun when I don't know. I am old, and that's just the way that I am most of the time. As a novice writer myself, I run into one issue. I do a planned outline, but the story in my head uh, really follows along. I'm gonna assume that's gonna be rarely follows along, not really follows along. And I don't actually plot. When I start a story, it's, hey, by the way, this is the main character. This is the story. This is the ending that the story is probably going to have. Here are some cool things that if I can get to them, if they happen, if the characters tell me these happen, that would be great. But I don't really plan. I just report what my characters tell me. Now I have to be extra careful that nobody does anything stupid like life bonds, 11 staff members, but mostly I just listen to the voices in my head. No, because I don't play well in other people's sandboxes, and there are very few that I would trust to play in mine. If one of the people I trust came to me and said, "Hey, dude, I would really like to write in this world setting you did. Can I do that?" There are a handful of them that I'd be like, "Yeah, we can talk about that." But since I listen to the voices in my head, I don't think I would play well trying to write in somebody else's setting because their setting is set in stone, and I have to adhere to their world Bible. And yeah, probably not. My wife would like to know about the chair. She says it looks nice and comfortable. Oh, you can't see it. It's black on black. It's Secret Labs. And I love my chair. So it's a Secret Labs chair. Expensive, but I thoroughly enjoy mine. What is your schedule for books going to be after Lux ends? I'm going to a 3-book rotation at that point, Noah. So it'll just be Antecedents, Aethers, and Heavenly Chaos at that point, which means you'll be getting 2 books for every series a year going forward. Um, Not including February, which I'm looking at pushing the last Lux voice out in February, so I can then start every even month on the first of every even month, giving you another book in a series, which would then start the cycle of, okay, 2 books a year. So of course, 25 would be not 2 books for everything because of Lux voice being there, but then going forward, it should be. Um, if for whatever reason I decide that a 3-book rotation is not working out for me, then I need to go back to a 4-book rotation. I will of course notify everyone via my socials and or the monthly live chats because it won't be a thing that I just spring out there. People will know ahead of time. Do you want to come up, Beans? You want to come up? Okay, come on. Come be grumpy. Grumpy. Yeah, Beans. You are now famous. You are on the Twitch. No. Well, you came over for love. I tried to give you love. So, I mean, typical cat. How often do you and other authors workshop the cool shit you come up with for yourself? I don't workshop with other people, Apollo. I don't. I have talked to other authors about their stories because I'm a fan, and I've said, "Hey, I really love what you've done here and here," and I was wondering about X and Y, just like you guys do with me. Um, but I don't workshop my stories. They're the stories in my head. I just report them. Yes, the meth field is still around. If you look closely, you can see the other meth field. There are in fact two in the screen. Paul, I kind of answered this at the start, so I would actually ask you to just hit hit Twitch tomorrow or YouTube tomorrow and watch like the first 10 minutes. What is the order of all the series? Well, let's see. At the moment, what we have coming up is Antecedents and then Lux, which will be the last Lux, and then Aethers, and then Heavenly Chaos. And then what will happen is we'll go back to Antecedents, and then we'll go to Aethers, and then we'll go to Heavenly Chaos. So, no, 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 no. That is Garfield's drugged out cousin, Methfield. If you go looking for the plush on Amazon, you will find some hilarious reviews. And the girlfriends found them, and they thought it was hilarious. And friends of mine found them, and they thought it was hilarious. So my girlfriend's got one, my friends got one, and now I own them both. And you can see them. There's one above the other if you look at the screen. I don't know if that's because I don't believe the top is cut off for you guys, so you should be able to see them both. As often as you say after action reporter, what was something that you were writing? It made you sit back and say, "Oh, someone fucked up." The only time I'd say anyone fucked up was me and Sean. Sean, when he life bonded the entire staff, and I didn't catch it till the following book. Which is why I have been since then paying more attention to some of the things my main characters do because I'm not going through that again. So yeah, not not putting up with it. Would you ever consider writing a book about a world as more of a background of the world, like a history book or etiquette book? I mean, probably not. Mercury. That would take time away from writing the books that you guys enjoy. And history books aren't enjoyable, honestly. By and large, history is not fun to read unless it is presented in that manner. History books are dry because they're supposed to be factual, not entertaining. Um, but it would take away from writing one of the novels. So no, it is entirely unlikely. If I was ever going to do that, it would have to be after a series ended, because then I could take basically all my notes of the series and then compile them down to make sure that I don't screw up after the fact. Will a new coin be put on Facebook, the Facebook group, to see better? I still need to get pictures of them, Paul. So eventually, that's that's all I can say. I need to pull two of each coin out and do what I did before, which is lay them head and tail size up visible, and then get a picture of all of them at the same time. With as many as they're getting, I'm gonna have to probably split it up into two pictures each, honestly. Just because of how, because like the last one, you would have had to zoom in to break out some of the details. So Is the Andean binding words a nod to Andrea in your narrator? Only in the way that the spelling of the name is done, Mr. M. My nod to Andy as a person was actually in Alpha World, even though she wasn't recording those. So, why do you think dragons are so popular in culture and lit RPG? I mean, they've been a staple of mythology for the longest time. I mean, you can go all the way back to Beowulf, which had the dragon. Um, and then I'm sure if you look around, you could find even more of them scattered across the world in different forms. They were always seen for the West. They were always seen as one of the great big mythological monsters. In Eastern mythology, they're not as cut as dry as they are in the West on that front. Um, so they've been with us for thousands of years at this point, for from a story standpoint. And a lot of lit RPG draws off the RPG, and in RPGs, dragons have always been a big bad, big, powerful, tough, hard to kill, dangerous. So if y'all think that this um, gives you um, any real indicator outside of what kind of lizard, well, we'll see. We'll see. I think we mentioned this before, as pointed out in the initials of Heavenly Chaos, are Arf and Bar. What is the third's full name? I don't think we got a middle name. Her name is eluding me right now. You mean Sadie? Well, I know her character sheet comes up in book 3, Paul. I'm pretty sure her last name is used in book 2. Fairly certain. Could be wrong. Fairly certain. Book 1 or book 2, I'm pretty sure I mentioned her last name. Could be wrong. I don't believe her middle name was mentioned in 1 or 2. I know I mentioned it somewhere, but I've already written book 3, so I could just be, you know, misremembering where something is. In my family, my parents and my sisters and whatnot are still big Christmas. And in my family, it's an Italian Christmas. That's what we were raised with. When I was a kid, all of us would go over to basically grandma's house. So it'd be my dad's mom. So my dad, all of his siblings, their kids, my grandmother, big big Christmas get-togethers when I was a kid. Um, and it was always lasagna. You go to Christmas dinner, it's a lasagna. Um, Nowadays, my mom and dad do homemade pizza Christmas Eve, and then of course we have lasagna on Christmas. Um, for me, for Yule, I don't have a set meal. I normally have a drink to honor the passing of the seasons, but that's it. They know who they are, Paul, and I will not draw them out into the light. That would be up to them if they ever want to come to me and talk to me. There are things in people I don't mention. I won't name names unless I have full approval across the board. So it's just not doing it. Yes, I've read Path of Ascension. Um, I started on Heavenly Chaos, I want to say, when Path of Ascension was on book. I don't know. It was a while ago, guys. You have to I have to have a slot for books to be published. That's a thing. Um, but yeah, I read it. I thought the base idea was good, and then I took inspiration from that and cobbled together a different system. There are similarities, but it's a vastly different system. Um, as much as some of my reviews want to say otherwise. Hey Geneva, welcome in. We're just here talking, you know. It's late for people, especially me, but it's okay because right after this, I can go face plant into oblivion, and that'll be fine. I'll wake up tomorrow and then pick names and message people and see about getting people coins. But doing it late is good for me because it means that at the end, when I am completely wiped out from peopling, I can go face plant, and it's fine. I'm not like losing the day because I couldn't get my brain engaged again. Excuse me. Excuse me. So, word of advice for me: do not have dinner out before doing the live chats. I had no choice this time. It was a family member's birthday. The meal and stuff was set. I was obligated, family obligations to attend. I attended. I got to see people I care about. I got to celebrate life events. Things were good. However, yeah, yeah, life. Alpha was my absolute favorite. Is there any plans to do books in a similar setting? Um, Similar setting. Sith read Dungeon Walkers. That's about as similar setting as you're gonna get. And I currently have no other plans set in anything similar-ish to that. So you are already my favorite author. Now your reputation is revered with all Sennenfelder factions. I feel like I should know something. Feel like I should know something. It's late, and I'm probably missing something. But that's, normal for me, to be fair. Ah, it's your last name. Well, I mean, you're right there with Shinhofen then. So, I mean, yeah, good company. Things are good. My German last name, my Italian heritage, my French heritage, and my Irish heritage. It's a lot of heritage for hard drinking individuals. It's almost like my family is predisposed towards alcoholism. Just a little bit. I am not, Ben. That's the thing. I was, for the longest time in my life, a dog person. I am allergic to dogs. As I found out, they started giving me hives. My girlfriends are decidedly cat people. And why? Well, I don't mind a cat. I might enjoy a cat. I am not a cat person. Cats are independent assholes. And if I want independent assholes, I already have me. So, do you or the editors like squishmallows? If so, why? My girlfriends both enjoy squishmallows, um, mostly because it's in the name. That's supposed to be squishmallows, not squashmallows, and because they squish. From what I understand, they're very nice. I am I am not really a stuffed squishy thing person either. I'm very minimalist actually. Very minimalist. Ooh, there's one of the favorite questions. I don't really do favorites. Never been good at favorites. Never been good at lists. It's always a pick your favorite child kind of moment, even when it's not mine. It always feels like a pick your favorite child moment. Um, I have a lot of things that I enjoy. I enjoyed a lot of Heinlein. I enjoyed a lot of Zelazny. I enjoyed a lot of Asimov. I enjoyed the fuck out of Pratchett. Um, but I don't really do favorites. So I think you did a history book, it would be more like a Mel Brooks history of the world with Andrea narrating if you could clean up. I mean, I don't really think I'd do a history book though, is the thing. Yes, Beans. You want to come back up? You want to be on you want to be a star again? Come on, come be a star. There you go. Hello. You gonna be a star. Hello, little plushy princess. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Oh my god. Mwah. If you want attention, you're gonna get attention, but you're not gonna get the attention you want. You're gonna get the attention I give you. This is why me and cats have a problem. If you can't pick what are books you could just pick up and reread over and over again and never get tired of. I mean, it depends on what you mean by over and over again. For me, everything needs to be set down for a bit, so you can go back to it again. Needs a break. I mean, if you want to talk about books you can pick up, read over and over again, those would be my own books, guys. Because like when I started working on Lux Voice 9, you know what I did? I picked up Lux Voice 8 and I read it start to finish. Then I started writing Lux Voice 9. And when I go to write, what comes after Lux? Aethers? Hang on. Aethers. When I go to write Aethers 10, I'll pick up Aethers 9 and I'll read it start to finish. And then I'll write Aethers 10. Um, I don't have enough time to read anymore to really be like, I want to go back and read this book that I read 3 years ago. Not if I want to stay abreast of the other authors who are current in the genre that I enjoy reading. So when I want to read the next M. Tress Monster Girls in Space Book 4, which I think comes out in 2 days. Um, it's either today or 2 days. It'll be in my TBR for a while. I still have the next Dungeon Crawler Carl book to read. I have the next Heretical Fishing to read. I have the next the last He Who Fights with Monsters to read. I don't have enough time to read to really take the time to go back and read something that even if I really did enjoy it 2, 3 years ago, I just don't have the time. Not if I don't want to get completely backlogged and never be anywhere near current with the with the things that are currently going on now. My apologies. I found that the ending to Binding Words 11 felt like it was rushed. I did enjoy Alpha World and Aethers are compelling. Well, I cannot control how you feel. So I don't know what to tell you about how you felt it was rushed. I think everything kind of played out the way it was supposed to. So we would have a difference of opinion on that, which is perfectly fine. The only one I can honestly say in my own head that I feel like I should have split it into two more books should have been Apocalypse Gates. Apocalypse Gates 8, I should have made 8 and 9. And I could have given a little more flesh to each of them and made two separate books. However, books 5, 6, and 7 of Apocalypse Gates were doing terribly in sales. And I didn't want to leave a series unfinished. So I made a large book and finished out what I wanted to write. And of course, end of the series, you can normally see a pick back up in sales, and that's what book 8 did. End of the series, people jump back on from where they left the series and read through and finished book 8. So, um, not really, Tanker. When I finish a series, it's normally not difficult to say goodbye to the characters because they've finished their story with me. They're not telling me, "Oh, hey, this is what's going on" anymore. They've finished talking to me. I will feel sad that their story is done because I really enjoyed them, like you guys have. But they finished talking to me, so which you get the idea, McKnight. People will still call them dragons. Well, a lot of people still outside of those origin countries will still call them dragons. So what can I say? Sometimes you just gotta tease. I might have had a kitsune teach me how. What if it's a type of snake instead of a dragon that just so happens to have a type of poison? That would be cool. I mean, I'm sure there's one out there. Tanker, peopling takes away all my spoons, and I don't have many of them on any given day. I am an extreme introvert. If I stayed inside my cave and didn't interact with people, I'm at my happiest. I do these to give back to you guys. You guys are what allows me, my fans are what allow me to continue to be a full time writer. And I want to show my appreciation for you guys somehow. So I do the live chats. I give away challenge coins. My thank you for my fans. But yes, peopling exhausts me. Exhausts me an awful lot. Oh, look at that! I'm catching up to you guys. I only got a handful of questions left. It's a good night. I'm gonna I'm gonna probably only go an hour tonight at this rate. That's amazing. I learned my lesson from Van Wilder. Having a pre-game dump because you don't want to have issues during a test or big event. I mean, Paul, it sounds good in theory, but if you're just getting home in time for something, you might not really have the time for other things. So, I just kind of went through that list, Phoenix. Like I said, I have Dinneman's last Carl book to get to. I have He Who Fights with Monsters. I don't remember what number it was, the last one that was released. That is still sitting in my TBR. I have a Heretical Fishing sitting in there. Um, I have Centaur's Dungeon School one. I can't think of the name of it right now. I have a lot of books that are sitting there waiting for me to get to them. So uh, inspirations. Huh? No, no, I didn't take it that way from you, McKnight. I have had people who have been let's say unkind in what they say. And that's fine. If that's the way they see things, that's the way they see things. But no, I didn't take it that way from you. So then no one ever told you they're jealous of the fact the voices in your head are actually productive. I mean, they weren't for the longest time, Kuma. They just are now. So I'm in my 40s. I'm at that tail end of Gen X, right at the start of millennials, depending on who you talk to. So yeah, as getting old. I heard you talk about Who Fights a Monster. How do you feel about it? And if you could change anything, what would you change? Honestly, not a lot. I mean, the only things I would change and quibble about would be author decisions. But that's everyone has those moments. Oh man, why did he pick X when he should have picked Y, kind of thing. And anyone who reads the genres has those moments. Um, I'm not going to pick apart other people's works, especially not on a live chat. Um, there are some things that I myself would have done differently, but that's true for any author. Um, but no, there's nothing there. The story as is solid, and I really appreciate that. I'm here. Thank you, Nikki and Xander. I appreciate that. All just about all out of spoons myself, and I appreciate that, McKnight. I hope your migraines are at a minimum tonight. Look at that, guys. I think this is the last question I have for you guys. That's a thing. Do you think there will be a confrontation with the Eternal Flame again? I mean, I think eventually there would be. I can't say it will happen. I can't say when it would happen. I'll find out when Greg tells me. With your arms up and seeing your tattoos, is a heavenly chaos one planned? Is it different from the coin? No, it's already done. Hang on. Let me pull that down. And you're not going to get a good view of it because I got a lot of hair. Hang on. But it's basically uh the coin um pushed together. It's the words and basically the dragon head on my arm. I've been doing my best because I had that one for I think a couple of months now. Doing my best to not spoil things because I wanted book 2 to come through first. It's like the shirt. I've had these shirts actually since April. Yeah, yeah. So just been sitting on them. Just been sitting on them. What is your favorite comedy bit in your last works? I don't know, honestly. I can't point to any like, oh my god, that was hilarious things in any of my books. I know they're there. I know I've written some, but I can't say. So is you basically writing books for the voices mean you're charging them rent? No, just sharing their stories with people. That's how I've seen it since the start. I appreciate that people enjoy the crazy stories in my head. Mm, no, the voices stay productive because they always want to say something. And I appreciate you being here, Ben. They're normally on the 15th of every month, and then the times that they happen change. Um, this one got pushed back to the 17th because I was doing the rave event in Vegas. Next month is oh hey, it's also on a Sunday, but it'll be at 10 a.m. Pacific. So what is that? Almost 12 hours sooner. 9 hours sooner in a day. We'll be putting the event up on the Discord and whatnot, probably in the next day or two, so people know where and when. But yeah, and 5 people get chosen for coins. It does mean 2 things, guys, and I'm going to go ahead and say this now. If you want to win, if you talked and you're like, oh, I'd really like one, 2 things. You need to make sure you have messages turned on, so I can actually message you. And then 2, in a day or 2, you need to come back to Twitch, look at the messages, check to see if there's one there from me, and that means also check to see if it got kicked to spam, and then reply to me if I have messaged you. I've had people 3-4 months later being like, "Dude, I'm really sorry. I fucked up. I didn't check." And these things happen. but I like to get everything out in a reasonable amount of time. So please check your messages on it, like tomorrow or the next day. See if you're one of those winners. It'll be good for all of us. Emily Castuas loved it. Thank you very much for writing them. Tim's, I have adored the series since I started writing it. There is so much going on. I just hope people are understanding that you have very fragile characters that are not instantly going to be okay with things. Because I know that I've already gotten some flack for, well, how come Benedict and Atropos just aren't over their trauma already? And I'm like, you must not deal with trauma. You must not know someone who's gone through that kind of shit. Because if you did, you wouldn't be like, it's been 6 months for them. Why is it taking them so long? That's that's not how emotional and mental and physical trauma work, guys. Mm, just sure. Yeah, which I think was in April. We had them and we wore them then. That was the very they were like fresh off the press for that. What other mech warrior models have you been looking at for inspiration for antecedents? None. I have a program for building mechs for BattleTech, and I went back and forth on that for the longest time. For okay, what kind of weaponry am I going? What would there be in everything else? Because I do besides my characters telling me, I do have at least some input on things, guys, like the mecha and how exactly they function. So okay, what kind of weaponry is going to be there? But I don't like go, oh, this I want a mad cat or I want a whatever. I don't do that. What is your favorite harem dynamic out of Centaur's books? He's written a lot of books, guys. Ash, he's written a lot of books. Um, and he's written a lot of things I enjoy. We'll we'll stick on theme. I have a couple of themes that I'm sure people probably spotted, and I'll stick with his dungeon series because that's the current-ish series of his that I've been reading the most. I don't know if he has other ones going out right now. I'd have to go back and look. Um, he does have a um, Demon S inspired character in that one, Dez. I would probably do that. Might have a thing there. Just saying. Might be a thing. McKnight, man, I can sympathize with you 100%. I got migraines a lot back when I worked for other people. They were stress migraines. I found out because most of them went away when I stopped working for people I hated. Um, I can't imagine having them unendingly. So you are a bigger man than I am. You are enduring things that I am not sure that I could have. So please keep doing so. Trying to follow this and a football game is killing your brain. Well, Lost, I mean, you could always turn off the football game. Just I used to be I loved football when I was younger. And not young. When I was a kid, I loved baseball. And then they went on strike in 80, I want to say 86, 87. And I stopped watching baseball because I didn't understand back then as a child why the players didn't think that $1 million a year was enough to play the game that I loved as a kid. And when I was in my late teens and early 20s, I loved football. Um, I came into football late. That's when I actually started watching football, and that was right around the same time that Peyton Manning was drafted by the Colts, and I loved Peyton. And until we find out he's done something egregious, I will continue to love Peyton Manning. He was the guy who would go up and almost audible on every single play, and I loved that from a quarterback standpoint. And then I just kind of stopped watching football. So whispers are the same as messages. Yeah, whispers, messages, direct DMs, private conversations, whatever they're called. I don't know if they're actually whispers. It's just a little icon. It's like a little speech bubble. It's in the upper right hand corner area. Trauma is very much needed as subject of books. Yeah, I don't. I scratch my head at those people. That doesn't bother me. It's just like I am sorry it didn't magically go away and there's not more sex on screen, because I think that's what you're probably really frustrated with. And you're going to be very frustrated with Heavenly Chaos if that's what you expect, because I'm keeping it PG-13ish. So, could you do a BattleTech play? I'm assuming you mean like a BattleTech Let's Play, like record a game. My friends used to do that on a YouTube channel, and I don't know if it's around anymore. But we for like a year, I want to say it was like a year, we did one every week. I don't know if they're still up or anything, so I'm not gonna try to recall the exact YouTube channel, because I don't know if they're still there. I don't want to point people at something that actually is no longer there. I don't play MechWarrior actually, Paul. The BattleTech game by, I think it was Catalyst. Uh, whew, a while ago now. You can find it on Steam and GOG. I played that, and that's actually the only one that I have. Um, and it's challenging early when all you have is like lights and maybe one or two mediums. But once you get 4 assault mechs, honestly, it's not that difficult anymore. Even when the game is being stupid and throwing 12 to 16 other mechs at you, if you're playing even remotely smart, it's not really a challenge. But I still enjoy going out there and smashing giant robots to pieces. So, woohoo! I caught up to you guys again. I didn't even notice the repression of some trauma until recently. There is a consideration by my doctor and past counselor that trauma is why I have never-ending migraine. I mean, it could be McKnight. Mental, physical, and emotional trauma can have physical repercussions on the human body. So it is a valid it is a valid point and something that should be considered. Um, whatever they can find cause wise, I hope that one day you can have some relief again. Have you read Valen's Heritage or Legacy by Van Stry? If so, what's your thoughts on it? I probably have, Ash. I remember the first Valens. If that's the one that follows the kids, I think I at least started them. But I can't say anymore. I'm really bad with names and stuff, guys. And if I had the book in front of me and I like read a chapter or two, most of it would come back to me, because that's how my reading works. But I honestly couldn't say off the top of my head. Really enjoyed listening through Anticine's Legacy 3. Can't wait for the next audiobook to drop from any series. Um, well, Vosk, the next audiobook to come out should be Aether's 9. And like I said, I would expect at the end of this month, early next month, probably. And then after that, the next audiobook from me you'll see come out will probably be Heavenly Chaos 2. When I last talked to Andy, we're hoping to squeeze Luck's voice in to be recorded like around February next year. That's all subject to change, but we're hoping for it. And if I had my way, it would be perfect for her to be able to record 8 and 9 back to back, and then we could just be like, blap, done. Um, but once again, that's her schedule and everything that's going on, and I screwed up the scheduling and making sure things were lined up and crossed off and everything else, and I have no one to blame but myself. So no, actually, I have not read or listened to any of the BattleTech books. My friend has a giant bookshelf filled with the old novels. Um, but I know when those were written, and I know that they're probably going to have a lot of points that I'm going to disagree with. Mostly on the fact that they will dictate that plot rules everything else. Because I don't know how many times I've read a book where the plot dictated what the characters did and not the characters dictating the plot. And it's very obvious when a character flubs, basically goes out of character to hit the plot point. Those are the moments I put down books, because that is a plotter who had to hit the plot point and didn't care that it went against grain because that plot point had to be hit. So yeah, yeah. Hey, look at that! I caught up to all your questions, guys. Yes, I did. Wow. Oh, look at that! I saw starred questions pop back up. My moderators are on it. Um, I know that I've read some of Eric's books. I don't remember them that well. Terrible to say, and I apologize if he watches this or somebody tells him or anything else. I apologize. Once again, I am bad with names and things, guys. I know that I've read some of them. I know that he is very prolific in what he writes. However, Eric doesn't write the same style that I write. So yeah, that. Have you considered writing a book when someone starts as lawful good and slips? Not really. I have a real problem with lawful good. Lawful good to me actually doesn't exist. Nobody is actually lawful good. The closest you could come would be like Superman, but even in some places, Superman slips. So no, I've written good characters. I'd probably consider them neutral good characters, but not lawful good. I have I have a lot of problems with lawful good. I am very happy that D&D finally got away from the all paladins have to be lawful good, because it never made sense, especially if they were following an evil god. Yes, lawful stupid. That's what lawful good comes down to, honestly. So, in one of my stories, the ending was completely different from what I expected. No, actually, every single one of my series came out the way I expected it to. The only time I would there are a couple caveats. I rewrote Apocalypse Gates 1 so it went on track. The series ended where I expected it to. And then Dungeon Walkers ended early, but it ended early on the out that I saw giving myself if I had to. Um, but every series has ended the way I expected it to. minus Sean life bonding the staff. But even that, by the time I got around to the end of the series, I had accounted for it. I knew where the series was ending. There are a few things. If you're going to break out the D&D alignments, I am going to say to you a few things. People do not play most of the alignments the way they're supposed to be played. Nobody actually plays chaotic neutral. Nobody lives for chaos and doesn't care about good or evil. Every character I've ever had at my table who said they're chaotic neutral is either chaotic good or chaotic good. Very few people can ever pull off a true chaotic evil. Lawful evil, yes. I've had lawful evils and neutral evils. No real chaotic evils. I've had nobody play lawful good. Chaotic good, neutral good, neutral, just, not really aligned to any one thing. Lawful neutral, lawful evil, neutral evil. I've had all of those and seen them played well. Lawful good, no. I've had people try and fail miserably. Chaotic evil, had people try, but honestly, the party kills them because a chaotic evil character doesn't play well with others. And chaotic neutral is almost never played correctly. So, you see yourself returning to Dungeon Walkers in the future? Is it pretty much washed, full, and put away? It's pretty much done. I mean, if in 10, 20 years I don't have mortgages anymore, all my bills are paid up, I have, a comfortable little nest egg, I might get back to it. I might get back to Apocalypse Gates too. Should you expect it? No. I think that's the best I can say. Meh. Have a good night, McKnight. You too, Black. Hakan. I can't say that name right. Is Two-Face? It depends on which iteration of Two-Face you're getting. In some, he was lawful neutral. He was very law-abiding, and the other side of him would have been very chaotic neutral. Um, so I actually would split them along the lines of law slash chaotic neutral. Because the two faces. And if you combine those two faces of lawful and chaotic neutral, you have neutral. What are your thoughts of bringing back the Kender from 3.5 to 5? I mean, you can if you want. It's not hard to do. Kenders are just the halflings of a system. I don't see it being that different, honestly. But he's not truly chaotic neutral because when he is in his one side, when he's more favoring his one side, he has a code of ethics, and that code of ethics makes him lawful. Lawful doesn't mean you follow the laws necessarily. Most of my dwarves were played lawful neutral. They followed the laws of their clan. The laws of man didn't matter to them. So I mean, you can get lost in the minutia of alignment. I like the fact that alignment doesn't really factor into D&D anymore. People should play their character, not not whatever alignment they think they should have chose to start with. Because most people can be pushed or pulled across a spectrum, and that should be the way it is. Night Outlaw. Do you prefer all partners in a single big bed or roaming between beds and partners? Depends on, excuse me, depends on the relationship, Chucker. Depends on the relationship, the people involved. I've known people who are firmly in the first category and people who are firmly in the second category. So it depends on who, what, where, when, why, and how. As with most things. I heard you mention characters' names. Do you have a public-facing list of books and corresponding characters' names for those of us with bad recall? There is a wiki, Tanker. It is being worked on. Yeah. Where was I? Are you planning a pre-order for the next Antiseason? I am at the moment considering doing like a 2-week pre-order for every book coming out. So far through Aether's 9 and Heavenly Chaos 2, there seems to be a big bump in ranking the first couple days of the book going out if there's a pre-order ahead of time. There is a corresponding, of course, drop-off of KU reads, because those of you who buy the books are now willing to buy the books, buy it instead of reading it first on Kindle Unlimited. Perfectly fine. Do whatever works best for you guys. That the pre-order buys, though, all basically refresh and hit when the book goes live, which helps push the book way up in the rankings, which means it gets pushed out in front of more people's faces earlier. For those people who would KU the book first and then buy the book, I am quote unquote losing out on the back end of that. But since that always comes up, if you KU something, you shouldn't buy it until the first of the following month. It kind of washes out that way too. The sales ranking early to get it in front of more people, I think actually edges out in that regard. So at the moment, I'm looking probably at a 10 to 14 day pre-order, because I find the longer the pre-order, the less people remember. And I don't want people to get surprised when they suddenly get hit with that $4.99 charge because of my book. Because for a lot of people, paycheck to paycheck right now, if you pre-ordered it 2 months ago and you forgot about it, that could hurt. That $5 coming out in a moment you don't remember it coming out on could hurt you. So I think a 10 to 14 day pre-order, you're less likely to forget it, and it would still have the bump then for sales rankings. I would debate Two-Face more. It depends on which version of Two-Face you're talking about. As with every comic book character, guys, who've been redone and redone and redone and redone and redone and redone, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, depends on which version you're talking about. So, how do you feel about characters in books that go full Munchkin? If it fits the series, I don't care. You want a power game a system? If it fits the series, go for it. If it doesn't fit the series, though, then why in the fuck are you allowing that? Is there a difference between KU reviews and Amazon versus purchase reviews? There's a lot of debate on that. I don't think there is anymore. Before, I would say that, yeah, there might have been, but since they redid their review system to being rankings instead of reviews, I don't believe there is now. So, but it's Amazon. We never actually have a full answer. So, I'm a KU guy. I read so much. I never be able to buy the books. All right, I know it hurts authors. No. Ben, totally fine. I don't mind. They're in KU. Most of my income comes from KU because people who read a lot can't afford to buy the 20, 30 books a month they read. And I understand that. Even at $5 a book, 30 if you read a book a day, that's $150. That's sizable. And I understand that. So that instead of that 150, you're paying $15, you can read 30 books. I don't quibble. It's fine. I stayed in KU. One, most of my money comes from there. Honestly, if I pulled out of KU, I would take a huge financial hit. Two, it works for people on limited incomes. Until Amazon hammers me for some way, shape, or form that I feel the need that I have to protect my business, I will stay in KU. And it's perfectly fine if that's all you ever do. 100% perfectly fine. And I appreciate that, Dragon Master. I really do. But never feel the need to buy the ebook, the physical book, the audio, or anything else. If you're on KU because you have limited income, 100% perfectly acceptable. I get it. I really do. I'd much rather have pre-order on all your books that are going to come out. It does provide an excuse. Does provide an excuse and patience, though. Fair enough. Fair enough. I think it's getting late. I think it's getting late. Fair enough, Harp. If you're chugging through 100 books a month, that means you're roughly reading 3 books a day. I either have to ask how fast you're reading, what your reading comprehension skill level is. Because honestly, 3 books a day is a lot. And if it's 120, that's 4 books a day. I'm assuming you're sleeping in there. And let's just say you're sleeping for 6 hours a day. That's only leaving you with 18 hours then to read. If you did nothing else, 18 hours to read. You shouldn't be able to clear a book in under 5. And that's if you're reading really fast and if you have good comprehension skills. And that's if you're speed reading and what you can remember from the speed read. That is a lot. Like a lot. I used to read very fast. But with work and sleep and life, I don't think I cleared more than 1 book a day. On my day off, I could get through 2. But only then. So, yeah. Honestly, that shocks the hell out of me. And it could just be now because I only get like an hour a night to read, guys. But saying that you're tearing through 100 books a month, good fucking gods. I'm just jealous though. It's fine. It's fine. I'm hardly jelly at all. Barely jelly. I need some peanut butter. Is there a book you've written that you decided not to publish, and if so, why? Yeah, I have a lot of things that I've written that I've never published, but most of them were before I decided I was going to publish books. And the why? Because I was younger, and they're shit. Um, the other things that I've written and I haven't published, it's because I've set myself on my publishing schedule of never going above 4 series at a time. So those books are waiting for a slot to open up. And now that I'm going to a 3-book rotation, they're still going to be waiting for a slot to open up. So, doot 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 doot. Here's a question I've always needed to answer. Is Water Rock an actual place? I've heard it referred to as Pahrump, which I think is real, but Google Maps doesn't like me. Pahrump, Nevada is a town. It is about 60 miles outside of Vegas. It is currently my home. There was a local band here that had a song about Pahrump. And supposedly, and you'll get conflicting agreement on this or disagreement on this. The native words for Pahrump translate roughly to water rock. And that's because there used to be artesian springs out here. Not so much with all the homes now, but back in the day before this place grew up and it was used just for farming, there were artesian springs, hence water rock. So yes, it is a place. It's not called Water Rock. It's called Pahrump. But it comes down to if you're reading that much, as long as you can comprehend what you're reading and you're not just skimming. Because I find I'm not saying it's you. First, let me clarify. This is not you. A lot of the people I've known who say that they could read really fast skim. And while they might comprehend what they've skimmed, they miss bits. Which is why when people told me, hey, I finished your book and it's 3 hours after it's been published, I'm like, okay, that was 120,000 words. Okay. So, I mean, it's flattering in one regard, and the other regard, it's like I am never going to match that kind of appetite. And that's what like I said, if people get through a book a day, and like I said, if you hammer out 2 books on the weekend, I can't quibble that. I used to do that even with work and everything. But if you're chewing 120 books a month, damn, you have my respect for being able to do that. Because even at my best, that wasn't me. All right, guys, I have caught up to all the questions. I've caught up on the live. We've been here for an hour and 25 minutes. That includes my 5 minute. Oh my god, my stomach hates me. And I still apologize for that. Looks terrible when this goes up onto to replay and gets sent over to YouTube. I will not be entirely enthused with the fact that that's there, but I refuse to not have the record of the live chat there for people who want to see them. So, the next live chat will be next month on the 15th, which is a Sunday. It will be at 10 a.m. Pacific time. That's my time zone. We will put the event up on Discord, which, if you look at it later, translates to your time zone. So you will be able to understand when it's coming for you. And then I guess in like a week or two, I'll have to put up a Facebook post because I know that I have some fans who are only on Facebook who ask about when and where the stream is going to be. So I will try to remember to do that as well. Check back tomorrow or the day after because I'll get to it tomorrow at some point, probably early-ish. I will check tomorrow. I am going to message people, 5 people, and ask them, hey, what coin, what shipping address? If you get a message from me, and my name is fairly obvious, I will need information from you. And that is the only information I'll need from you. Coin you want, shipping address that I'm sending it to. That's it. Never answer a question that asks you for more personal information. I will need your actual name if you're out of the United States. If I have to put up a customs form, which I have to do for anything outside the United States, I need an actual name to go along with it. I can't just use your handle here. Customs doesn't like that. But I will never ask you for your personal information, your phone number, your date, your social security number, or anything else. Oh my god, there's a cat. It's a floating cat. It's magic. Anyway, guys, thank you for coming. I hope to see you guys all next month. Until then, stay safe out there because the world is crazy. Have a good one.